The Dogecoin ETF hype is brewing. We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And we're continuing our 6 consecutive days of Dogecoin giveaways during my live streams, so be sure to check those out. But right now, we've talked about these ETFs, what it means for Dogecoin. We've looked back at the Bitcoin ETF as well as the Ethereum ETF. Those are the only two out there for crypto. But Doges could be special. So let's get into it. Let me show you the news and the charts. Show you what I'm looking at. We start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart, and we're at 26.7 cents. Overnight, we did have this run up. Show you this orange line in a minute. We did have this run up over 27. We hit 27.5. That was a good run we had going, but again, we're in these choppy times, Bitcoin still being choppy as well. So whatever kind of big runs we have on news, it just keeps getting pulled back down. That's just how we are right now. Bitcoin is at 96.6. Bitcoin did not have that kind of run like Doge did last night. It was kind of gradually moving up from this 96,000 line we were watching yesterday. And it's moving back down a little bit as well. So we have that going on. And the other is XRP. XRP just hit 270, was up to about 276. Also running on its news yesterday, whether it's the ETF or other. I'm not going to speculate much on XRP and what could be happening with the White House and Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple and all of that. But it seemed to be there was a little bit of hype about that. But it could be their own ETF application as well. And Solana is a little bit lackluster. It came up a bit over $200, but has come back down to about 196. And those are the ones we will be talking about with regards to the ETFs. But first, let me zoom out a little more onto this chart that we are looking at for Doge. And this is a symmetrical triangle that we have that is formed, and Dogecoin is breaking out of that symmetrical triangle. I posted this yesterday on X, thanks to Trader Alan, and so we'll see whether we bounce off that and move up. Again, we'll be watching that in the Friday afternoon live stream, so be sure to take part. Fridays, we always have a lot of fun in the live streams, so be sure that you are here. But what else is going on? Let's take a look. Here's Trader Alan. He's like zoomed out, and he's like looking at the 4-year cycles. 2017, 2021, and here we are, 2025. We haven't had the 2025 run yet. We had this in November of 2024. That's not unlike previous cycles where 2020 we had a little bit of a run, and even 2016 somewhat of a run, but it, Dogecoin really wasn't trading quite the same way back then. Double pump in 2017, double pump in 2021. Are we left translated and that was the first pump and we're only going to get one more? Or are we going to get 2 in 2025? We will be watching that. And then we have Sudi here. Sudi's like looking back at the 4-year cycle. He's looking back at 2020 into 2021, noticing some shapes. And he's sort of repeated these shapes here, 2024 into 2025, and thinking this is setting up pretty nicely. Could be very similar, again, if we're looking at the past as an indicator of how Dogecoin could trade later this year and what could be bringing those big runs up, and will they happen sooner rather than later? Of course, you already know in my 2025 Dogecoin price prediction video, I moved it all to the right, and I'm thinking that this fall is when we're going to have this run, whether it's X money or ETF. And now it's looking more like ETF would be in the fall 2025 timeframe. So we have a little bit of hype right now about the thought of the ETF and what it could be, but the actual ETF is still going to be a ways away. And I know you guys don't want to hear that. We could have X money too, though, coming sooner. There's some rumors about that. But let's take a look at what's going on here. SEC opens the door to Grayscale's Dogecoin and XRP ETFs with surprise acknowledgement. So that is sort of how the SEC works, though. SEC acknowledged Grayscale's applications for both the spot Dogecoin and XRP exchange-traded funds. According to two February 13th filings by the SEC, this marks the first step in a regulatory review process that could determine whether these funds receive approval. Both ETFs aim to track the price performance of their respective assets. So we've talked a lot about what these ETFs mean and how they work, and we can talk more about that in detail during live streams. But for the purpose of this video, what we want to look at is, the Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas noted that the agencies acknowledge him as a positive development. Historically, similar filings for altcoins have faced rejection. I wonder which one that might have been. So Eleanor Turret said that the SEC appears more receptive to consider these crypto ETFs, that is, Dogecoin and XRP, marks a shift from December when exchanges withdrew 19B4 applications for Solana after the regulator signaled a lack of engagement. So interesting, Solana might not get an ETF. We'll see how that goes forward. The acknowledgement is just the first step of a lengthy process, but we'll see what the odds are right now of Dogecoin's approval and what's happened on Polymarket in just a minute. So also regulatory uncertainty still remains, and particularly with XRP, because it may depend on the resolution of the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. But we want to look at Dogecoins. Let's look at Dogecoins now, because the review clock, we've talked about this 240 days, it hasn't started yet. I'll show you the detail of that in a minute. But what began as a joke could soon be a Wall Street hit as Dogecoin ETF proposal vies to be the first spot meme coin fund. That's right. So it was the New York Stock Exchange ARCA submitted the 19B4 filing, and this is going to take the Grayscale Dogecoin Trust, and there's going to be a conversion into an ETF. And that's how, very similar to what they did with Ethereum and Bitcoin. But right now, there's not a lot of money in the Dogecoin Trust. So we're not going to see this huge selling because it just started. It wasn't like Bitcoins and ETHs where there's a lot of money that had been pent up in there for a while. So I don't think this is a bad thing. So it's worth noting the SEC has acknowledged the 19B4 filing, the 240-day review window, starting with an initial 45 days, begins only after its Federal Register publication. So I will be watching for that, and I'll let you know when the actual 240-day window begins. That doesn't mean they have to take the full 240 days, but that would be the maximum that we would be looking at. So the ETF, publicly traded fund that allows for real-time buying and selling on exchanges with greater liquidity. And like with the Grayscale XRP filing, Coinbase custody would handle the Dogecoin, so they custody it, and BNY Mellon would take on some administration duties. That's how they deal with these ETFs. It gets data from regulated U.S. trading platforms, and it just basically trades right along with Dogecoin. And in their filing, they did say over 2,500 merchants and retailers accept Doge for goods and services, including the Dallas Mavericks and AMC. And Doge has been donated for various charitable purposes, including to build a water well in Kenya. So all good things for Dogecoin and this ETF going forward. And Polymarket, and we looked at it yesterday and it was at 64%. Well, now it's at 72%. So the percentage of a Doge ETF to be approved in 2025 is increasing. So this is all good news. This is the hype that is brewing and building around Doge and its ETF. And we did see this mini breakout, we'll call it a mini breakout last night with this good news. And we'll be watching and seeing how the Dogecoin price charts a little more detail throughout the day for Friday afternoon's live stream, and we'll see whether we get some good positive trading for the day after this bit of a retrace overnight into early this morning. And of course, because we're in this choppy market, a lot of it is going to revolve around how Bitcoin trades as well. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this big news it is. This growing thoughts about Dogecoin and its ETF, and Doge becoming a legitimate investment vehicle from a meme coin. Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.